Welcome back to a light beer-induced episode of the Voices of the Voiceless podcast. I'm going to start off with a story. It's a pretty bad one, but that's neither here nor there. Somebody, if I can try and go back to it, somebody commented in one of our videos, Brad, on my YouTube, because that's where these videos go. Do you want to hear the comment? I mean, I'm going to say it anyway, but do you want to hear it?
I do. I'm very curious.
Okay, so it's from Sports Talk Live 13. And I quote, "Hey, I just started a new podcast, ... awkwardly also named Voice of the Voiceless, and was wondering if you wanted to be a guest next week, ... unquote. What should I do?"
How about no?
Did you make your own soundboard?
I did. Isn't that great?
Oh my gosh, that's not good. That's not good. You told me you've been busy. You've been busy doing that?
Yeah, I've been busy making my own soundboard.
Oh my gosh. So what do I tell this guy? What should I say?
It's up to you. It's
Um,
up to you.
I'll can I like comments? Because I'll like the comment and then just not respond.
But what if he's listening to our show?
He's not.
Okay.
I can see if
'Cause
someone's listening. Live, of course.
Well, I mean, I know that, but he could pick it up on iTunes and then say, "Oh, but he did say he was going to ignore my comment."
Well, I would have been obliged and went on, but he's trying to steal our name. But he withheld the first S in voice because it's only by himself because he has no friends. So
Yeah, our podcast was first. I mean, the names are slightly different, but we were first.
no. I think weren't we second? But because the Twitter account was stolen. There was a Twitter account of with Voices of the Voices, and it was a podcast, and he had like 8 followers. It didn't tweet since like 2012.
Yeah, no. The Twitter name was taken, but the actual podcast name, ours was there first. He didn't have a podcast out by the time ours was out as Voices of the Voiceless. So we were the chicken before the egg.
Oh, good. Well, okay, that's fine. Makes it easier then, I guess. So let's go. Oh, this is going to be a train wreck. Let's go from one story to another, and that is of the tweet of the week, which, if you heard the music, you know it's that time. When I read it on the agenda, and Gary, as he usually does, puts the name before the actual tweet, it had Roman Reigns. I'm like, what did he say? And at first, I thought that Gary was going to pick the Matt Hardy tweet about Orlando, which was horrible. But I'm surprised at this one.
Yeah, this one probably one-upped it. So go ahead and hit the music.
I already did. Like beforehand, I already did.
Okay, great.
I'll hit it again. Okay.
Hit it again. Okay. Roman Reigns. Mr. Reigns tweeted that his thoughts were with the families of the loved ones of the victims of the terror attack in Orlando. And, I'm sure they're on social media reading this right now and being comforted by Roman Reigns.
Yes, sir.
Anyway, so at Pro Wrestling Co., they actually reply to Roman's tweet and say, "This didn't make you look strong."
Well, that's not funny. I'm laughing at the idiocy that I just read. That's all. I'm not laughing at Orlando. I swear to God. I promise. Just so no one thinks I'm a complete asshole. I'm not.
So this guy's from Morocco. His profile says he live tweets Raw, and also he represents the IWC.
Of course he does. I bet his Facebook profile is of Roman Reigns wearing a John Cena hat, and it says "Boomin' Lames" or something like that, which is. And he has John Cena footy pajamas with a superhero logo on his shirt. Whatever, I don't know. This guy's a mark. He's a bigger mark than Goldberg. Actually, that's impossible. But
Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, there it is, folks. This guy's a jackass.
But no, let's talk about the Matt Hardy, and let's preface it by saying that all aspects of TNA are just garbage. But his tweet, what was it? I think he deleted it, by the way, and it has something along the lines of, it was a tragedy what happened in Orlando, and this is like a day later, maybe not even 24 hours later, and he was so sad that it happened. But watch Brother Nero and I wrestle at Slammiversary will make you feel better.
Yeah, basically, let me take care of Brother Nero and take your mind off of it or whatever. Something, you're right, something to that effect. And
people were pissed.
It wasn't probably the best wording. I wasn't offended by it whatsoever, but it definitely did draw the ire of a lot of wrestling Twitter fans.
The TWC, the Twitter wrestling community.
That's right.
I don't know which one's worse. I mean, the IWC is mainly Reddit and Facebook, and Twitter is just its own enigma by itself. So I don't know which one's worse. But you know what made me feel really, and before we get into Raw, you know what made me really feel bad this week? I felt awful because I follow Noel Foley on every social media platform possible, and I forget which one I was on. It might have been Instagram, and I saw a picture of her and her rat mouse face of a boyfriend, and this picture of her. It's of them in like a photo booth. You know how there's like the 6 photos. You can have like two, and 2.
Yeah.
One of them, she's stuffing his face in her cleavage, which made me sad. It made me so upset. So, yeah, you know what's so upset? I have to go get something out of my fridge. Hold on a second. This is primetime radio.
Sort of. Primetime radio. The show must go on. John goes to his fridge to get a beer, to drink 2-month-old milk.
Give me a second. My fridge is closed. I'm back already. See, you didn't miss a damn thing. Ugh. All right. You know what? You want to know what Noel Foley shoving her rat-faced boyfriend into her boobs makes me do? You want to know what it makes me do? That's what it makes me do.
And imagine if Frank the Clown actually liked that.
You think he's gay? Really?
Yes.
Oh man. But why would he chase after her if he was gay? And let me preface this by saying that the Voices of the Voiceless podcast do accept people of all gender, race, ethnicity, etc., and we support everybody's endeavors. So
we love the gays, we love the lesbians, we love the straights, we love everybody, we love people. I'm a lover of all people, as I like to say.
Yeah, I am too. So I mean, you said it, I didn't. I just agreed with it. But yeah, so do you really think he is? Honestly, why would he chase after her so much and be of the gay community? I'm curious.
Maybe, he's looking for the star appeal and money.
Maybe.
I mean, he is an obsessed wrestling fan to the umpteenth degree, to a stalker creepy level. So when someone's like that, is it really that much of a stretch to say maybe he's along for the ride for fame and money?
See, I think there's a difference. He's not a wrestling fan. He's a WWE fan.
That's true. He is a WWE fan. I think. I'm not aware of him liking stuff outside of WWE. So you're right about that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, WWE is talking to Will Ospreay. I doubt he knows who that is. Just throwing it out there. I highly doubt it. But
anyway. I would take Vader in a shoot probably over Will Ospreay right now. Vader's is 61 years old. I think I would still take him.
You think I think Will Ospreay would just outrun him and he'd get tired.
Yeah, that's true.
It'd be the 2016 version of Steven Regal and Goldberg. because one is a big brute idiot and the other one's a wise wrestler. So it's the same demographics either way. I mean, what is it? Okay, so I was listening to another podcast the other day, and it's one that I do condone very well. And they were talking about the when Goldberg lost his streak to the taser against Kevin Nash, because Kevin Nash was putting over Goldberg, by the way. That's what he'll tell you. That's what he'll tell you. And Goldberg, legitimately, and you were an avid wrestling fan at this point in your life, he punched a car window and did he shatter his hand when he did that? Or what was the whole story behind that? Like,
yeah, no, he did. He was pissed off at Scott Hall, and he did. He actually did a shoot punch of the limousine window and really very severely hurt himself. I mean, hell, he could have bled out. He could have totally lost, the use of that hand or arm. I mean, it was really serious. It was really a dumb move.
So it was a shoot. Was it on TV? Because was it kayfabe or no?
It was on TV.
But that wasn't in the script, is what you're saying.
No, him taking his bare hand and punching it into the window and breaking it and slicing his hand open full of blood was not in the script.
Ugh.
Goldberg went rogue.
Oh no. And everyone should go back and watch that match, Steven Regal and Goldberg, when Goldberg wouldn't do what he was supposed to, and Regal said, "Well, fuck this," and decided to actually wrestle him, and it got serious. I did. Good.
Yeah, I was gonna say Goldberg worked him into a shoot, and Regal decided to have a little fun with him.
And folks at home, how do you think that went? Steven Regal was an accomplished grappler. Goldberg is a meathead who, ironically, is a good businessman. Battery just makes people think,
Well, I think
suckers.
He's a big guy, and he's got an athletic background, and he, frankly, was such a mark for himself. I think he thought, he was the shit, and he probably didn't expect Chris Jericho to take his ass down or Regal to stretch him out in the ring.
Guess not. I guess not. And what can we learn from that, kids? Don't be a Goldberg. Just don't. Ever. Now, the Raw hit or miss is shorter this week because many things have overshadowed what actually happened.
Yeah, so I just, talking to Gary, I think the goal here was to make the Raw hit or miss as short as Apollo Crews.
Maybe as short as Baron Corbin's push on the main roster.
We'll find out.
Seriously, we're going to. But before we get into Raw, can you congratulate my Pittsburgh Penguins on winning the whole thing? Can you do that?
Fuck off!
They won 6 games. It was a celebration. Phenomenal. I don't know what else to say.
I told you. I mean, congratulations to the Pittsburgh Penguins. It's Sidney Crosby. And I heard they're trading. Are they trading Malkin?
No, it'll be Fleury if they trade anybody.
Yeah. Congratulations to the Penguins. I hope they never win a Stanley Cup again. I hope they never make the playoffs again. I hope they never win a game again. And I hope Sidney Crosby goes crying home to his mommy. Congratulations.
I think we deserve some celebration music. Hold on one second. You're not going to play along? I was.
They suck. They suck. They suck.
We'll get into the Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle, Zack Sabre Jr. entrance a little bit later because I think there could have been some copyright infringement that took place. But did you see the Hurricanes made a trade the other day?
Yeah, I mean we're gonna win it all next season.
I know you're not, but
okay. Maybe not.
The one center from Newfoundland or wherever he's from, Tuomo Tavanen, is very good actually. He was one of CM Punk's favorite players in Chicago. And he's going to be a stud for you guys. As far as the other guy, he's Brian Bickle. He's a big sack of shit that makes $5.5 million a year and sucks. So have fun paying that contract. But other than that, you guys are in good shape.
No, I mean, the thing about it is, I guess if he sucks, they will get rid of him. I mean, hell, Stahl was the franchise for how long, and they got rid of him. So
yeah, they canned his ass. So, you know, we'll see what happens. Okay, we're going to go into Raw here. The opening segment, I hope to God you liked it, because I really do.
I thought it was a miss.
Oh, come on. You're telling me that you hated Xavier Woods and Enzo Amore going back and forth on the mic. You are not a fan. You are a buzzkill.
I'm listening to a guy talk about making love to a musical instrument on a show where the average viewer is 40 years old, and I'm supposed to be intrigued by this juvenile humor.
It was funny. It was funny. Sorry.
It was just over the top ridiculous. It went on way too long. The comedy stuff was just so bad on Raw, and it was just a miss for me.
You're just old. You're 30. You're 31 and you're old. I don't know how old you are.
Get off my lawn.
Well, goddamn. I have the Primo brothers mowing the lawn.
Oh my!
No, they're in Puerto Rico because they didn't get a green card.
I didn't say that, folks. That was John Fisher.
Well, no, what? Okay, there's a reason why they've not yet came on the main. They haven't been on TV in a month after getting this big hype because their debut fell flatter than trying to think of Brie Bella's chest, and there's nothing they can do. So what? They should have made an angle where Zeb Coulter got them deported and lost their green cards, and they're stuck in Puerto Rico. So and what they could have done is went around the streets, quote unquote, and then just wrestled random people for money. That would have been the greatest gimmick of all time.
Yeah, it would have been. Yeah, Brie Bella's.
She's beautiful. I shouldn't have said that. She's a beautiful person.
She's a carpenter's dream. Because she is flat as a board.
Oh, see, I actually think she's really pretty. So
I never said she wasn't pretty. I just said she had no tits. I mean, I think that's a distinct difference.
That's really, really judgmental. And again, just like I had the disclaimer, let me just put another one out there that we are not this critical outside of the podcast. It's mainly a persona. Ask the Road Dog, real life and on camera are totally different.
We're just playing characters.
Yes.
You've got to see, that's the problem with you folks. You got to separate the characters from the people.
Well, hey, you know what? Road Dogg gets a lot of shit, but he didn't actually say he hates wrestling fans like Al Snow did because he's a bitter old fuck. Because that's true.
Al Snow, he's bigger than 90% of wrestlers today. The guy is juicing so hard that...
It's him and Billy Gunn.
Yeah, it's a contest. Who can have the highest test level?
Yeah, Al Snow said he hates wrestling fans. That's interesting.
And that's a shoot. I mean, his character that he's been doing, this anti-smart fan character, I mean, it's a shoot. It's based on reality.
I don't know what character is he playing. Is he actually playing one? I don't watch TNA.
He's been doing this. He's been wrestling, and he's been doing this character where he attacks the younger talent, and yeah, he's like anti-smart fan. He's been cutting promos in the fans, and he's got the French tag team from NXT that they released, and so he's kind of like their mentor, and he's I mean, he's bigger than yeah. Well, it is awful.
Okay, the Shield reunion. Since you hated the first segment, I don't know what you thought of this.
This was also a miss for me.
Oh, how? I don't understand. Roman Reigns cut his best promo of all time.
That's not saying much.
No, but it was good for him. Dean and Seth went back and forth. That was great. They were reminiscing and ended with Dean on top. What's wrong with that?
What's wrong with it is this was a total comedy segment. This was, first of all, you have Seth and Roman are going at each other and wanting to attack each other. And then the next week, we have them in a ring and they have no problem standing toe to toe and they don't try to hit each other. They don't get into it with each other. It's just everybody's there. Everybody's kind of mellow and doing goofy comedy. And it was just so stupid. I mean, it's more bullshit that they're writing for children and not grown adult men. It was just very corny, and they had something that should have been great. This was the thing that I was looking forward to the most on the show. I was very excited about this. This was a huge letdown, and frankly, I think only WWE could come up with something, a segment so good that it writes itself, and they actually make it worse than it is. And it just takes effort to do that. I thought it was terrible. I thought they made Ambrose, his lines were terrible. The whole thing was just terrible. I hated it.
I don't know. I mean, mostly everybody loved it. The Twitter wrestling community and I loved it. Seth's promo was awesome too. I don't know what you didn't. I don't get it. I mean, and Seth and Roman did beat each other up for a little bit, so it's not like there was no physical contact.
They sat in the ring for 10 or 15 minutes looking at each other and goofing around and joking and talking after they were just trying to kill each other last week.
So there's
no continuity.
Well, no. So every contract signing.
Well, this wasn't a contract signing,
but it's the same premise. They're there to talk. They're not there to fight.
What do you think two grown men are supposed to do who just last time they saw each other are trying to fight each other, and the next time they're face to face, they're not going to talk for 15 minutes and joke and make jokes and goof around. They're going to try and punch each other in the fucking face.
I think you're being a little too critical.
I think you're giving him too much of a break here. I thought it was bad.
I mean, that's fine. That's fine. Everyone has their opinions. It's a subjective art form.
No.
Someone was asking me like, where's Sasha Banks and where's Paige, and I was listening to another podcast, and I'm sorry, I cannot take credit for this. It was just too funny. And if someone's like, well, where's Sasha? Where's Paige? And then he went into his McMahon impression. He's like, oh, well, you can see Sasha and Paige on Superstars.
Well, I mean, you can see him on Superstars in main event. That's actually a shoot. That's her. I mean, she's been wrestling on those shows. And that's
Sasha has. Nah.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Oh, the Sasha Banks. Always injured.
She only sustained 2 injuries in the past 4 years. So I don't know what too many injuries means. Too many injuries is who was that guy on Breaking Ground that every time he went to masturbate, his shoulder popped out, like something like that.
Randy Orton?
No. No, it was like not Corey Hollis. I forget.
No, I know who you're talking about. They released him.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, he was every time he'd get his coffee, his shoulder popped out. He's like, oh, I was reading a book and my shoulder popped out. So I don't know.
Anyway. Damn. How are you going to jack me off with a torn shoulder? Pop it back in socket and let's go, kid.
Too much. It's too much. So I was talking to Dean earlier this week, and he was called by Gawker to put Hogan over, so he won't be here this week. Sorry about that. So he won't be there, and in a couple of weeks, you didn't hear this from me, but he's going to the Titan Towers, and he and Vince have a one-on-one. So we'll see how that ends up too. So Dean will come back next week, fresh off of a fresh. Matt, I don't know, something funny. I can't think of anything right now.
I hope he wears chapstick.
It's no longer the Kiss My Ass Club. Think more TV 14. I'll let it go with that. But so we have a lot of news and notes here.
Hang on, before we get into that.
Okay.
I just want to ask your opinion on Raw as an overall show and a go-home show. What were your thoughts on the overall show?
Um, Overall show actually wasn't that bad. I didn't mind it. The Cesaro Sami Zayn match was really good. Um, I think there was a 6-man tag earlier on. The 8-man, it was the 8-man. That was pretty good too. I didn't mind it. The women's match was had like 2 good spots and then it ended quickly. Charlotte losing was kind of stupid because Paige isn't getting a title shot. What else? What else is there? The main event was I like the creativity of it. It was kind of neat with a brawl at the end, so that was fun. I still think we're looking more. Cena AJ Styles was fucking amazing. Love that segment to death. I actually watched it again the following day on Tuesday. Other than that, no, it's the highlight for me was Styles and Cena. So I don't know what you thought, but overall it was decent. It wasn't bad. The ratings were awful, but to me it wasn't bad.
I thought they deserved the ratings. I thought it was not a good show at all. The 2.03 rating, the lowest since March of 97. The 18 to 49 demographic viewership historically low. And that's no surprise when you're writing a show for children 8 to 11 on a Monday night, school night, and the average viewer is 40. I thought there was way too much comedy. It was like all of these geek writers with the pencil over the ear were all trying to one-up each other with these comedy bits. Corbin Ziegler, it's on the pay-per-view pre-show, wasn't even promoted or mentioned, basically. I mean, there was no continuity to the stories. Okay, Owen says Del Rio was 20 minutes late or was late to Raw, but he was on the Raw stage for the tribute to Orlando, so he was clearly on time. Rollins, he wouldn't get in the ring with Reigns, yet had no problem doing a Shield talking segment. Then you got Stephanie is suddenly a heel again without explanation and battling with Shane. After the last time we saw them, they were peachy keen and getting along. It's like, so the writing continues to suck, and they continue to put no effort into it. And frankly, I felt like they just kind of threw in the towel here.
You didn't like AJ Styles and John Cena?
It was all right. Yeah, I mean, I thought they still did the inside bit, which I didn't like. I think AJ is working great as a heel. I think the delivery of his promos have been great. I think the match will probably be very good. But yeah, again, I just
what's wrong with him saying wrestling company names like PWG and Ring of Honor and New Japan? What's the big deal?
No, that was fine. That wasn't what I was talking about. That was fine. Of course, they obviously didn't mention TNA, which is where he spent almost his entire career.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like, hello. They're clearly not going to mention TNA. That's obvious. So, no, I mean, it was all right. Like I said, overall, the show I didn't think was very good. It was a poor go-home show. I don't even think you can call these go-home shows anymore because there's no build to these pay-per-views. It's just terrible. And that's the bottom line. Because I said so.
Yeah, okay. All right, enough. Yeah, I mean, it's they could have done it differently, but, they were promoting more of the Money in the Bank match and the title match at the end. And no, the highlight of the night easily was Styles and Cena. For sure. And Cesaro and Sami Zayn was number 2 for me. So anyway, let's get into the news and notes on this. So arena sites are advertising that Bayley will be with the main roster in August. I think that's fairly obvious. Because TakeOver Brooklyn will be the penultimate moment where every NXT star Vince wants goes up to the main roster. Am I wrong?
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. I think she's going to the main roster. I've been saying that. I think I've said that on this podcast that I thought she would be in the not too distant future going to the main roster, and I think she is.
Do you think she's also? And I didn't see Gary put it in. As we saw in NXT on Wednesday night, Finn Balor is going to face Nakamura at TakeOver Brooklyn 2. We think. I don't know if that was confirmed yet or not, but they're going to wrestle. And I think it was very evident that was probably Finn's recommendation to have a farewell match with somebody. Am I off base? I think that was fairly obvious.
I think Gary intentionally did not put the Finn Balor piece in there because he didn't want to hear any shit from anybody. Yes, you could certainly speculate that Finn Balor's debut is imminent. You could have speculated that months ago. So we'll see.
That's true. Hey, CM Punk return is imminent.
Yeah. Probably a better chance than that in fighting in the UFC.
Now he is confirmed for 202 for now. Until he gets hurt again. I don't know. Okay, this one made me laugh, and this comes from at least your tweet during the week. On a Facebook Q&A, Stephanie McMahon said the ultimate goal of her character is to get Talon over. I know. I replied to that and just said liar because that's not true at all. I found that so funny.
So you have to ask yourself. I mean, seriously, this is a total joke. Is she just completely dishonest, or is she just so out of touch that she actually thinks this?
I don't know. I think she's out of touch. Because she's a very charitable person, and she's a good person at heart. But everyone I talk to says she's so nice and kind and friendly. But does she really think she's putting people over? What's her problem?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like John Cena. Yes, he does put people over. His shoulders for an AA and then pins them.
he did put over CM Punk and Daniel Bryan. So nobody can argue against that.
Yeah.
Tell me he didn't. Tell me he didn't right now. Because you can't. He put over them both.
I mean, I wouldn't go that far because they made it very obvious when he lost to Daniel Bryan that he was not anywhere close to 100% and implied heavily that's why he lost. So that was not really putting him over.
Okay, then CM Punk.
He continued to main event while CM Punk was the champion consistently, so I don't know about that.
But he didn't bury CM Punk. I mean, Punk beat him.
I don't think he buried him. I don't think that. No.
Okay.
I mean, people say the bury. I mean, really, to be honest, you want to see someone who's buried? Look at Zack Ryder. Zack Ryder is an example of a guy who was actually buried by WWE. That's the example I would say to go by when you talk about someone being buried.
Why? What happened, by the way? What was that all about?
Well, the scuttlebutt that I heard was that Triple H was not a fan of Zack Ryder. He didn't like Zack Ryder. He felt like he wasn't a legitimate tough guy or didn't look like a tough guy. And he just didn't like him. He wasn't one of Triple H's boys. And in the rumors that you hear is that if you're one of Triple H's boys at NXT or on the roster, then everything is good. And if you're not, you're on the outs. So, he very much has personal decisions impact business, it sounds like. So, I mean, I think that's what it was, is frankly, they didn't like he got himself over when they want to decide who to push and who to make popular. And that's an easily backable statement. And they just didn't like the guy. I mean, they didn't want to push him, but the crowd reaction kind of forced their hand. And so they buried him.
Yeah, well, at least they're not TNA. And right now, the CFO of TNA, Dean Broadhead, admits on his Facebook account, which is stupid, that he spent all day calling 70 to 80 people for financing just so they can get the production trucks running, and said maybe it's time to retire. As it turns out, the financer was Billy Corgan, singer of the Smashing Pumpkins, who became a minority owner in the company, and that money allowed them to hold Slammiversary and the most recent TNA tapings. Is this more or less pathetic than ECW when Paul Heyman was keeping them afloat?
Oh, I think this is more pathetic.
That's hard to do.
Well, I mean, they're still trying to negotiate 6-figure deals with guys. And they have no fucking money to run TV tapings. I mean, if Billy Corgan, who's a money mark for the business, if he didn't give them money to become a minority owner, they had nobody else. They were not going to be able to actually hold Slammiversary or the recent TV tapings. They'd have been fucked, and they would have been in violation of the contract with Pop TV. I would assume. I mean, this is a disaster. This is a disaster. They're not paying Airlux for production. And then there's this Rick Shonen guy who posts on his Facebook that TNA owes his production company money from the January shows in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, and no one at TNA, including the CFO Dean Broadhead, will respond to him. But this place is in financial distress. It is a total disaster.
So, does Dixie realize that she's being Paul Heyman? Because at least with Heyman, he just tried to do anything he could. And the product didn't suffer, I mean, as far as I remember, that poorly. But I don't know. I don't know. I've never seen this happen before. So it's new to me.
I think she's a big part of it is she's just so clueless. She wanted a vanity company to run and make Dad proud, and she's failed at that, and now she's on her own financially. It's a failure again, and it's no surprise that all these guys have negative things to say. MVP said she's clueless. Magnus did a podcast with Vince Russo and completely buried the company, completely buried pretty much everybody. I mean, Dixie Carter, John Gaborik. I mean, everybody. It was incredible. You got to check that out. But I mean, they've got a lot of problems, and I don't think they're ever going to be able to fix them.
Why do you think? So TNA was successful in the mid-2000s. When did Jeff Jarrett stop becoming the head cheese?
Oh, geez, that's a great question. It's been at least several years, right? At least
I don't remember.
Years.
Because the last time I watched TNA full time, it was in like 2009 to 2011. And that was when Bobby Roode and Austin Aries were like going head to head for the TNA title. And I thought it was spectacular programming.
Well, you can watch that on NXT now.
You really can. It was great wrestling, good storylines. Like whenever Hulk Hogan gave Austin Aries like the Plan C kind of ordeal where he could win when he won the that one title. It's the new NXT Heavyweight Championship.
It was the X Division title, and he cashed that. Yeah, he turned that in to get a shot at the Heavyweight Championship, and I like that. I mean,
so did I.
Yeah, but it's a total shit show now. I mean, they just had their last show this past week, and they had all kinds of audio problems, and you couldn't hear anybody speak, and then they would speak, and it was every other word or every other second you would hear noise, and they had to cut off the show, and they tried to tell you the show was live, which was a complete lie. And of course, when you say it's live and you have all these issues, it just exposes you. I mean, the whole thing was like a worst case scenario, and they don't have their shit together. Dixie doesn't have her shit together. It's a total disaster all around.
Why do wrestlers keep going there?
I have no idea. I really don't know. When I saw Alex Riley is following Dixie Carter, John Gaborik, and I think Bob Ryder on Twitter. Yeah. The last thing he wants to do is go to TNA. Number one, if you're trying to go back to WWE, you got that stink on you, and I don't know if they'd allow it. Maybe they would if you're good enough. But, I mean, you're probably not going to get paid on time. I mean, they're still having money issues with paying talent on time. They don't even have money to run tapings, and they're trying to offer guys six-figure contracts. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, who is running this shit show?
Now, what did Nick Aldis say about them, from what you can remember?
He basically said that John Gaborik had no experience. He was incompetent. He was unavailable, refused to talk. He was very power hungry and liked to throw his power around. He named him as a huge problem in the company. He said Dixie was totally clueless, that he had joined the Main Event Mafia and was wearing his suit from a segment with the Main Event Mafia, and she asked to take a picture with him. She took a picture with him and then put on Twitter how proud she was of this guy, blah, 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 totally ruining his gimmick. She's just a mark. She's just clueless. She just doesn't understand working people or the business. She's just a moron. And he pretty much buried the entire company. He said, Dave Lagana, a writer for TNA, he's writing and helping determine people's futures, and he's got a profile pic of him with Rockstar Spud, and then they're pushing Rockstar Spud, and they just kind of killed Magnus's push, and it sounds like he left very unhappy, to be honest. And that was only part of the interview. There's another part coming out, I believe. But he buried him. He gave it to him both barrels, and frankly, from everything you hear from all kinds of different talent, Jesus, they have more issues than Sports Illustrated
or ESPN. Yeah, that's not good. That's not good. And someone that could have gone to TNA but might not is Moose, who's leaving Ring of Honor, expected to sign with the WWE, and he was seen hanging out with Apollo Crews. You see that is a good place to go for Moose. He's a former football player at Syracuse, if I'm not mistaken. I remember when Ring of Honor signed him. Actually, I was watching that show, and it was a sidebar with Maria Kanellis, and he was a big guy. He's an intimidating force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, Moose is definitely someone that'll do well in NXT. I'm assuming that's where he would go. He was totally wasted in ROH. He's making the right move if he signs with WWE as expected. His contract does expire on this Sunday, June 19th. If you're listening after that, it's already expired. But he's expected to sign with WWE, and that's a good thing. I was covering the ROH TV reports for Voices of Wrestling, and Moose was on the show, and he was jobbed out way too frequently. He was not protected. It was a total disaster. And here's a guy that's over with the fans. He's 6'4", 280, a legitimate athletic background, and they job him out to these indie guys. It was just a ridiculous joke. They didn't know how to use him. They didn't want to push him. It just made no damn sense. He's much better off leaving ROH, frankly, and signing with WWE.
So is he like the next Ezekiel Jackson, or what?
We'll have to see. We'll have to see. How do they change his gimmick? It depends. It depends on how they present him. He's still got some fine tuning to do in some experience, and I think he'll get that in WWE. But he has the potential to be over with the fans and to be, I would say, a pretty big star. I thought he was a star in ROH, and I thought they used him terribly, and I pretty much wrote about that every week. And, they would put him on the biggest shows and have him lose over and over. And the only thing I could think of is, well, they're not going to sign the damn guy when his contract comes up, because I knew his contract was going to come up. I don't blame him for leaving. So, yeah, there you go.
I don't either. I truly don't. And, I'd like to see him. I'd like to see him in NXT, because a lot of people are going to be leaving soon. So he'll fill in nicely. And last but not least, the WWE did apply for the Clash of the Champions trademark. Does that mean we'll be seeing Clash of the Champions returning? A WCW idea.
Yeah, this was very interesting to me, because I, growing up, was a big fan of Clash of Champions, WCW. And there were some great shows, and, they're on the network. Yeah, this is very interesting. They totally bastardized the Great American Bash when they used that concept. It was a total joke. So, yeah, I would love to see Clash of the Champions. I don't know where it's going. We'll see. We'll just have to see. But, some of these WCW concepts are really good. And Starrcade, Clash of the Champions, the Great American Bash, which they killed. These were good ideas that they could use. And, Vince doesn't want to use other people's ideas, is what it comes down to. That's a problem. So it'd be very interesting to see what they do here.
No, for sure. And I didn't get to grow up with that, so like to me, um, it'd be nice to actually see that and see it really flourish, and hopefully it'd be good. So, anywho, let's go to Money in the Bank predictions. We're totally going to keep track and decide who wins next week, just like the usual. We have two kickoff show matches. I don't know why, because this is the biggest event ever. Why is everything like the biggest ever or the best ever?
Or a WrestleMania main event level match. That's the new one.
That's straight from Vince McMahon, and it's sick. Straight from his mouth. So the two kickoff show matches are Sheamus versus Apollo Crews, and then Dolph Ziggler versus Baron Corbin. Give me both the young guys in these matches. I don't see any other way.
The faces do usually win on the pre-shows. That's the only thing I'm concerned about, because Dolph Ziggler absolutely should not go over Baron Corbin here. I mean, that's not even a question. And Apollo Crews should be going over Sheamus. Frankly, it should be Crews and Corbin winning. Again, the faces usually win on the pre-show, but maybe they're having two matches because they have one face and one heel win. So maybe it is Crews and Corbin winning. I'll go with that. I'll go with Crews and Corbin. But I think any other result out of the kickoff show here, other than those two winning, is an epic, epic fail. I mean, here's two guys new to the roster, and you're sticking them on the fucking pre-show. That is not how you get guys over. Having a 3-4 month feud with the guy that you're 50-50 back and forth with is not how you get fucking guys over. I mean, this is not a magical formula here. Crews and Corbin need to win. They need to fucking move on. I mean, Corbin has got to move on to something more interesting.
And I hope he does. Truly. I mean, yeah, I agree with everything you said. I don't even have to go into detail. That's how it should happen. The Fatal 4-Way, finally, the start of the show, we have the Tag Team Championship match, New Day, Vaudevillains, Gallows and Anderson, Enzo and Cass. To me, this is where Gallows and Anderson win. I don't see any other choice. That's actually this might be the toughest match of the night. I'm taking Gallows and Anderson.
Yeah, this is gonna be a tough one. I mean, I don't think Enzo and Cass are winning at all. I don't think the Vaudevillains are winning at all. So I really do think it comes down to New Day or Gallows and Anderson now. I do think Gallows and Anderson should be the team that takes the titles from the New Day. That I do think. Will it happen here in a 4-way? I guess this is a way to have the New Day drop the titles, but do it in a way where they weren't necessarily, beat team versus team, and you could kind of justify that and have a rematch. I'll go with Gallows and Anderson as well, but I wouldn't be surprised if New Day won.
Me neither. I'll echo that. The U.S. Championship, Rusev and Titus O'Neil. Rusev's going to win. There's no way Titus takes the title. There's no way.
Yeah, I've got Rusev here. I mean, they're just going to let Titus's contract run out. He'll probably just job the guys in feuds until his contract runs out because he's not re-signing. And so he's not going to win the championship. Rusev wins.
Yeah, there's no chance. AJ Styles versus John Cena. I'm biting the bullet. No pun intended. I'm taking AJ Styles.
Oh, I don't think that's biting the bullet at all. I'm taking Styles. I think this is, what we've seen, and I've talked about, last week in the podcast, time and time again. It's the Bray Wyatt formula. It's the Rusev formula. You look at all these guys, it's the Kevin Owens formula. AJ Styles is going to win this match, okay? Maybe even wins it in shady ways. And he's going to lose the next two. I mean, he's going to lose the feud, I feel like. And I feel like he's going to win this one, and Cena's going to come out on top. I would love to be proved wrong. I would love to see Styles go over here. Have John Cena put somebody over in a 3-match feud. Please, let's show me how it can happen.
Because you want it to happen?
It
means it isn't going to happen. It's not going to happen then. Okay, honestly, you really never know. Hold on hope. This might be the one that Cena doesn't win. Cumulatively. So we'll see. We will see. Charlotte and Dana Brooke versus Natalya and Becky Lynch. I don't know why the title isn't on the line. I don't get it, but
Well, I mean, this is filler until SummerSlam is what it amounts to.
Yeah,
You know,
sure.
they want to do the Sasha and Charlotte unless plans change, but they have nothing to do, and the Natty deal has really run its course. So it's kind of like, what do you do to kill time? And so this is basically, and this is one way. I think the match is not going to be very good, and it doesn't really matter who wins. But I'm going to take Natalya and Becky Lynch.
I'll take Charlotte and Dana. It's way too early to split those two up, so I think they win this one. But like you just said, it really does not matter. So
no,
what's the point? The Money in the Bank ladder match. I'm very dead set on who I think is going to win. I think it's Dean Ambrose. It only makes sense, and here's why. The way I see it, I think Roman's going to retain because of bullshit, and Dean will win the Money in the Bank, and Seth and Roman will have like another match or something, and have like a big blow up at SummerSlam, and Roman will win again, and then Seth will be pissed off, and Dean will still have his briefcase. And one way they could do it is have Dean hold the case, and Roman have the title, and then the other person win Royal Rumble, triple threat at Mania. There you go.
Yeah, I would totally mark out for a triple threat Shield scenario. I'm not going to lie. I think that would be great. Unfortunately, I've got Kevin Owens. I think the way they're booking this is favorable for Kevin Owens, and frankly, not so much for Dean Ambrose. When you look at their back-asswards booking, it tends to be like the guys who look the strongest at the final week tend to lose. I think they're going to continue to tease. Like, Dean will be a strong contender in the match, and they'll tease some spots and whatever. But I've got Kevin Owens. And if Ambrose wins, I won't be surprised. But I don't think Sami Zayn is going to win. I don't think Chris Jericho is going to win. And frankly, Cord Bauer recently said that it's going to be an interesting summer for Alberto Del Rio. I'm hoping to all the fucking wrestling gods that this guy doesn't win.
What if he does?
That would be totally boring.
Yeah, there's no reason he should win anything, period. Ever. Ever. Maybe he mentions his love life with Paige, 22-year-old. 23. She's 23 now.
Yeah.
Never hold out hope.
I want Ambrose to win. I'm going to be pulling for Ambrose. If Kevin Owens wins, that's the next best option for me. Oh, by the way, I don't think Cesaro's winning either. I don't think he has a chance.
Yeah, no, not in a little bit, no.
But yeah, so I think Ambrose would be my second choice. I'll be pulling for Ambrose. So there you
go. Okay. Now, last but not least, Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. Is there any logical thought that it would have Roman Reigns lose?
Oh, I think there's a 0% chance that he loses. I don't think there's any way he loses the championship.
So that begs the question, when does he lose his title then?
That's a great question. I mean, they want to put him over strong. If it doesn't happen at SummerSlam, I think you're talking more of that Road to WrestleMania time frame.
So he'll have it for a full year.
He'll have it for a long time. I mean, I think they're going to give him a lengthy title reign. And frankly, they may have him go over Brock Lesnar in the next, less than a year.
That's not good. Nobody wants that.
Well, and nobody wants that. But guess what? Vince wants it, and Vince doesn't care what anybody else wants. I mean, that's been clear by the booking of Roman Reigns.
Oh, well, you would think Seth would get his title back. I don't know, though.
I mean, really, that does set up a good scenario for a SmackDown and Raw brand split. He never lost the title. He's on one show. He is the champion. He's on the other show.
Yeah.
So there's a scenario where you could work that into current storylines, but yeah, I don't know if they're that smart, frankly.
Well, there's going to be another belt. It's going to go to Seth. It has to. Did you also hear and before we go, did you also hear the rumor that they might have 2 pay-per-views per month?
Oh, absolutely. That is the plan, actually. Unless that changes, that is because I'll tell you what, because Jerry Lawler is the one who spilled the beans on that. Okay. And Jerry Lawler just frankly doesn't give a fuck. He goes to these events or whatever outside of WWE, and he says what he wants.
Yeah.
Jerry Lawler spilled the beans many months ago about SmackDown going live.
Yep, I remember that.
So yeah, I mean he has been right 100% of the time when he says this stuff. He said something else too. I mean he's been right 100% of the time. I have no reason to doubt it. And I think Meltzer's reporting it as well. So yes, I think it's going to be 2 a month. I think that is too much. I think it's a mistake. But that's what they're going to do. They're choosing quantity of content over quality of content.
So oversaturation.
Oh, it's total oversaturation. There's no must-see TV. Nothing is must-see. It's more of like, here's a bunch of shit for you to watch. Watch what you can, and that's fine with us.
That's a damn shame. It's a damn shame. If Raw went to two, so some weeks we could have. Well, what would that be then? It would be 2 weeks out of the month that we'd have. Let's see, three. Let's see, 2 and 2. So 10 hours of wrestling in 4 days. 2 weeks, 2 periods out of the month.
I mean, this is way too much. Okay, let's say right now as it stands, 3-hour pay-per-view on Sunday. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
3-hour Raw on Monday. 2-hour SmackDown on Tuesday. A 2-hour Impact on Tuesday if you watch that, which almost nobody does, frankly, now.
1 hour NXT.
1 hour of NXT. 1 hour of Lucha Underground. Friday night, you've got New Japan Pro Wrestling on Access TV. I mean, you've got ROH on Saturday. It's if you keep up outside, especially outside of WWE, it's way too much to keep up with. I mean, you couldn't have a job, you couldn't have a relationship, you couldn't have a life, you couldn't do anything. You couldn't even fucking eat 3 meals a day because wrestling.
Yeah,
I think it's too much. So you can't watch everything. So you have to pick and choose, and that just sucks.
And that's going to be, and they're really, and if it wasn't for that ad revenue, then I just hope Raw goes back to 2 hours. I hate the 3 hours, and the ratings are showing.
You want to know why they're not going back to 2 hours?
It's ad revenue.
It's $50 million additional in money that they're getting for that 3rd hour of Raw.
Every episode?
No, not every episode.
Oh, just in general.
Just in general, yes. Yeah, it tacks on an extra $50 million of revenue. And that's why they do it. I mean, USA wanted it, and they get $50 million. And SmackDown is probably going to be 3 hours. I mean, I think it is eventually. Not right now, but USA forced WWE's hand to move SmackDown to Tuesday and live. They forced them to go live because the ratings are in the total tank. I mean, the SmackDown ratings are so bad they could just cancel the fucking show and it wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
So they're forcing Vince to do something. So they made him go live with the show like Raw because ratings are in the tank. And, they're going to go for that extra ad revenue. I definitely foresee it in the big picture being 3 hours as well, which, again, is a mistake.
Well, we're certainly going to find out. we're certainly going to find out eventually what actually happens, and hope to God. If it was good, like writing every week, hey, I'd be all for it. That'd be dope. But
you just burn the fans out. They just get burnt out.
Yeah, that's true, and that's the case for everybody. But I don't know. I mean, we're going to find out eventually what's going to happen, and hey, it's not for another month that the brand split happens, so there's still some time to just calm down. Impact Wrestling is going to get canceled eventually, so that'll be less wrestling we have to watch a week. So, well, for some people, and I think it'll get better. I'm going to stay optimistic, but maybe I'm just naive. Hey, probably am. I probably am. So, anywho, why don't you tell us where we can find you on the Twitter machine?
You can find me on the Twitter machine running our Twitter account at the VOTV podcast, Voices of the Voiceless. That's right, motherfucker. Voices of the Voiceless podcast. VOTV podcast. Follow us. We'll follow you back. Quote us, retweet us, like us, DM us, whatever else you do on Twitter.
Yeah.
And subscribe to our podcast. Rate us 5 stars. Leave nice comments. They make us feel good.
Yeah.
And I think that wraps it up.
Yeah, be a nice guy today. Try to, at least. Yeah, you can follow me at Fisher Wrestling on Twitter. How many followers do I have at the moment? I've been less active recently because of certain events. 1093. So 1093, which is cool. I like that.
How many do we have on our podcast Twitter account?
I'm gonna look now. You tweet more than I do. I'm busy, so. Well, see, that was a bit premature, because you have 1092. So
I do not.
Bullshit. I'm looking at it right now. Following 1929, followers 1092. I swear to God.
No, you're right. Okay, so right before we recorded the podcast, I apparently tweeted something offensive and lost 3 people. So to the 3 of you who unfollowed me, go fuck yourselves.
What did you must have tweeted something? Did you piss off?
I pissed off some of these stupid fucking smarks, apparently, who got their fucking panties in a bunch because I said something about their boyfriend Will Ospreay. Oh, it must have been when I said that Vader could take him in a shoot.
Or did it have something to do with how short Finn Balor is? Because that's in our podcast preview for the week. You talk about how short he is.
That's not my fault. He's 5'8" to 5'9". I can't help it.
Well, did you talk badly about Ryan Satin in the pro wrestling sheet? Because people get upset.
The pro wrestling shit, more like it. I mean, it's like, ooh, exclusive story. Referee gets a college degree. Who gives a fuck?
Well, now, did you see what happened today? They had an exclusive story about Johnny Mundo and Damian Sandow, and then John Morrison was promoting it on his own Twitter page.
No. Oh, yeah. Yes, I did see that.
Uh-huh.
I did see that.
So what do we have to do to get in with them? Do we have to suck their dick or what?
Yeah, that's pretty much what you have to do. I mean, you could kiss everybody's ass and be a total mark for yourself for them, and just totally not be yourself and do what you can to fit in and kiss everyone's ass and be their buddies. And I guess that's what you do. I don't know. I don't do that, so I'm guessing. Yeah.
I like their bio, fact-checked reports, exclusive content, accurate info.
I posted some anti-TNA things. Maybe that was it.
Oh.
Yeah, fact-check reports. Big breaking news here. A referee gets a college degree. Breaking news. Exclusive. I mean, seriously. That is the kind of content you're coming up with. It's no wonder that your fucking Twitter account for the site has so few followers.
Hey, Brock Lesnar got a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Is he a blue belt? Yeah, he's a blue belt. That's pretty good.
He's a blue belt. And the blue is going to go nicely with the black he's got from the black eyes of Mark Hunt.
What's that? Did you think that... So people are saying that Vince didn't know how good Mark Hunt was going to be before he let Brock go over there. Because when Brock loses to Mark Hunt, which is going to happen, he's going to lose all credibility with wrestling fans.
Hey, I've been saying that on this very podcast. I completely agree. He'll lose all credibility. He should join the social outcast and be jobbed out because he's completely worthless. And then after they job him out, they should just release him.
Well, not literally. Okay.
I do. I think so. Absolutely. Unless he wants to take a much lower contract offer, I would just release him. I mean, seriously, he's not a draw anymore on TV ratings. He's not a pay-per-view draw. They have it on the network now for $9.99. They're paying him a shitload of money. They're paying him millions. What does he bring to the table at that point if he comes back after a tough loss? there's nothing you can do with him. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think Vince knew. Of course, Vince doesn't know TV. He doesn't know pop culture. He doesn't. This guy is so out of touch. He's inside of a WWE bubble that I completely believe he didn't know who Mark Hunt was or how good this guy was.
He's good. He's very good.
I think he's more likely to beat Lesnar than Lesnar is him.
Mm-hmm. Lesnar's been out of the UFC since, 2011? So that's UFC is not like the NFL. You can't just jump back in there like Terrell Owens or Randy Moss. UFC is a different animal. But whatever. It's going to happen, and people are going to be pissed about it, so I don't say I told you so. His fight's what? July 9th? So we'll see. It's only for a few weeks away. But from everybody here, we already really covered it all. Is there anything else you want to say to the lovers and the haters out there?
To the lovers, to the haters, I say, fuck off.
All right, I gotta try and find something real quick. I wish I would have shared this video with you. So the promo where Matt Hardy's playing the piano and Jeff Hardy's coming in the door.
Yes, I've seen it.
Did you see all the audio dubs of the different songs that he's playing?
I gotta be honest. I don't think I made my way through that entire thing.
Oh, I did. I was crying, laughing at work. I couldn't even take it anymore.
I mean, this Hardy stuff is so bad, and on these spoiler alert on these Impact tapings they just ran this week, he continues to feud with Brother Nero. He's confined to a wheelchair at one point in the storyline. And is demanding time to recover and rest and have another rematch with Brother Nero. So this shit's actually going to fucking continue when basically TNA is letting these two wackos play out their fucking wrestling fantasy games on TNA TV. Oh my god!
Yeah, here it is. Here it is, and this will end it for me, everybody. See it? Man, CIS music.
Brother Nero, I knew you'd come.
Hold on. This is not dead air. You shut up.
That's what she said.
Did you hear that? That's what she said. Here's a better one. Hold on.
That's what she said.
Have a good night, everyone.